21 days ago, my firstborn son got his firstborn son. Date of birth, 31st October 2018. Time of birth, 1500 hours. Weight at birth, 4 kg. Gimayu magamutuine. To translate, only good quality flour can produce excellent ugali. 5 ululations for the boy child. Times 5. I cannot find the words to express what I feel, the joy that I have at seeing the second generation. I mean, the feeling is so real. But I won't lie to you. I'm going to spoil that boy rotten. I mean, isn't that what grandmothers do? It's part of their JD. To mark this milestone in my life, I decided to treat myself to lunch at one of the high-end restaurants in the CBD. Specifically, the Stanley. As I walked into this restaurant, I got a flashback. You know when you're watching a movie or you're watching a series, and on the screen you read 2 hours earlier, or you read 2 weeks ago. For me, what flashed on my screen was 37 years ago. In 1981, I walked into the very same restaurant. It was then the Thorn restaurant. I was 18 years old. Calculate my age if you must. I was going to meet with my sister, my older sister, who was working with one of the touring companies in town, and we were going to watch a movie. At that time, we had only 3 movie theaters, 20th Century, Nairobi Cinema, and Kenya Cinema. And my children have the audacity to ask me, what did you guys used to do for entertainment with so little variety? And not even in 3D. NKT. Those millennials. I had just completed my A-levels, as I said. I forgot this one. At Alliance Girls High School. You know, I had to throw that one in there. And I was looking forward to watching the movie. And while I waited for my sister, she told me that I could have coffee and cake. So I sat and waited for a waiter. 5 minutes became 10. 10 elapsed into 15. You know, at that time, there were no mobile phones, no laptops, no iPads. I couldn't be looking at my notifications on Facebook or liking somebody's IG post or find out what or who Trump was dissing on Twitter. So mine was to sit and watch the cars go by and watch the people walk by as I waited to take my order. Finally, when I was able to get the attention of a waiter, he came to my table and I placed my order of a pot of coffee and cake. I could as well have been speaking in tongues or Croatian because the blank look on his face showed absolutely no comprehension. So I asked him to give me a menu. Maybe if I pointed out at what I wanted or gave the number, he would bring me my order. This waiter took off, never to return. 15 minutes became 20. 20 was almost hitting the 30-minute mark. Now, without these other electronics, you can imagine that 30 minutes seemed like an hour. And ladies and gentlemen, this wasn't my local. I couldn't say, I say, boss, auntie, madam. I couldn't. Finally, this mustard guy in a mustard jacket came to my table, and I placed my order, explained to him, what had happened. And this gentleman explained to me, like you would a 2-year-old, We do not serve unaccompanied ladies here. It is hotel policy. My eyes scanned the restaurant. I could count 1, 2, at least 5 other ladies who were sitting alone. Oops, sorry. 5 other ladies who are unaccompanied. And I pointed this out to him, to which he replied, looking me straight in the eye, they are different. I said, different. Different? Different how? Was I being discriminated against? Was it the color of my skin? Was it my age? Was it my gender? Or was it simply because I am a Kenyan? Was this guy branding me? Did I look like I was on a hunting spree? Needless to say, this confrontation caused a commotion which drew the attention of the supervisor, just what I wanted. When he came to the table and I placed my order, I told him what had happened. This gentleman instructed the mustard-colored coated guy to take my order. He apologized for the inconvenience and then further said that my pot of coffee and cake would be on the house. Drat. Why didn't I ask for a T-bone steak, well done, with a side of salad, Thousand Island or vinaigrette dressing, and perhaps a full-bodied Bordeaux? Many of us, after being told that they did not serve unaccompanied ladies, would have stood up and walked out. But not I, not Muthoni. They would have either have to drag me out on all fours or in handcuffs, but I was going to have my coffee and cake. And I look at us, and I look at an array of our audience and people today, and question myself often, how many times we talk about wanting change, that we need to change this, but we never lift a finger to do that. It could have been in that matatu. You know, when the tout asks you to move for a 4th passenger in a 3-seater space, and you say, and you move. And later on you complain, I don't know to who and why. Or was it last week when Michuki's rules were reinforced and all fares on all routes around the country were trebled and you paid and said it was okay? Or is it in that supermarket line when the cashier decides to give you candy instead of your change and you say, oh, this one, I like tropicals. If you kept those tropicals and gave them the next time, would they accept? Or perhaps it's on that queue at Times Tower, where you have been standing since 6:30 in the morning. It is now 9:45. You are about 2 people away from being attended, and suddenly this guy cuts into the line unapologetically and tells you that he's been on the queue since 6 a.m., but he had to rush to the office because there was a certain emergency and certain documents that only he could sign for things to happen. And you smile and make room. Or is it in that crowded lift where you're packed like sardines, and the sardine which is behind you decides to start rubbing against you inappropriately, and the best you can do is size them up and give them a dirty look? Ladies and gentlemen, as Whitney Houston so well put it, I believe our children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. Give them a sense of pride to make it easier. Let the children's laughter remind us where we used to be. I decided long ago never to walk in anyone's shadow. If I fail, if I succeed, at least I'll live as I believe. No matter what they take from me, They can't take away my dignity, because the greatest love is easy to achieve. I found the greatest love inside of me. Fast forward, my screen now reads present day. I walk into the Stanley. The doorman tips his hat at me. The waiter pulls out a seat for me. And before I can even say Jack Robinson, a menu is placed in front of me. Mabibi na bwana, vindu vichenjanga. But how ready are we to effect that change? As a three-week-year-old grandmother, 3-week-day-old, whatever, you know what I mean, grandmother, I plan to be an active part in my grandson, Israel Gadu's life, to teach him how to value himself, to stand up for what he believes in, and not to shy away when something wrong is being done to him. Ladies and gentlemen, change begins with me. Change begins with you. Change begins with us. It is our responsibility to effect the desired change we want to see. And in order for this to happen, it is important. It is crucial. It is vital. It is imperative that we all stand up and speak out.